Hello and welcome to the Unusual Update, where we let you know what you might have missed. Hi, I'm Chris, and this is the recap for episode 17 of Unusual Array. Split. We started the episode with Arius, Sam, and Sheila alone in the base, after they were separated by some magical defenses in Emmerich's house, blocking the teleportation of some of the group. Sam, worried about Myron and the others, cast Sending and asked if the rest of the group were okay. We then switch back to the group of Myron, Colbert, and Sven. This small group blocked the door off and worked on dispelling the magic around them to allow them to teleport home. Sven used Dispel Magic with vicious speed as he used his levels in Fighter to use Action Surge, while Colbert and Myron held back the guards with animated objects and sheer force. With the magical effect dispelled, the trio leapt from the balcony and sped across the city before running into another trio with intent to kill.
On the right, there's a sort of taller one wearing the same bonecraft armor as those people protecting Svet were a few sessions back on the war giraffe. Bone armor, large bony spike-like pauldrons, a ribcage design on the chest plate, wielding a longbow but with a sheathed greatsword strapped to their back. On the left is a figure wearing these fine grey robes, bit of a golden trim, hood raised, and a blank porcelain mask on their face.
Ooh, this one's new.
That's Emmerich.
Holding this kind of crystal rod. And in the middle is sort of a combination of the two. The bonecraft armor with a long grey and gold cloak, and the mask integrated into their helmet, and wielding a scythe.
Jesus Christ,
That's
these guys are cool.
cool.
as hell.
Cool! That is cool. Too cool.
Could these porcelain mask guys be the mysterious third party?
Ooh.
Sure. Just as the fight starts, Myron received the Sending from Sam and told Sam that everything was okay, you know, like a liar, and Sam seemed to accept this as the truth, thanks to the high deception roll on Myron's part.
Okay, so I made a general list. It was, hello, you didn't come with us. Are you okay? Do you need help? What is going on? We are, what?
Okay, so that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Myron just sort of very instantly shoots back. Just being like, everything's fine, don't worry about it, stay in the base.
Seems all good to you, Sam. I guess those guys were staying behind.
Wanting only to leave the city behind, Myron cast Polymorph and turns himself into a huge white raven, while Sven bolted away down the side streets and alleyways. Myron swooped down and made an attempt to pick Sven up, but one of the enemies confronting them, wreathed in divination magic, banished Myron into a strange, dark labyrinth. Myron was now caught in the spell in his raven form, and as he was unable to pass the DC to escape this labyrinthine cage, was stuck there until the spell ended or something released him.
Myron then, so he snaps his finger, he goes, run, and then snaps his fingers, and you see lightning starts to go all over him as he sort of starts to grow larger and transforms into a giant white raven,
Nice.
whose force that is a giant eagle. So I turn into a giant white raven, and then I just bolt towards Sven and pick him up with my claws as I'm going past him.
So Myron, you're flying along. You just about catch up to Sven. You've grabbed onto his back, and then you guys hear these words of power from behind you. Clearly, a powerful spell, as I described. More powerful spells have more vocabularistics in them.
Mm-hmm.
And Sven, you felt the grip on your back. Then it's gone. Myron, you had just grabbed on Sven, and suddenly you're in this stone labyrinth.
Okay.
As best it can be described.
Sven cast Magic Missile on the now flying caster, causing them to lose their concentration and fall 60 foot to the ground. All the while, Sven laughed at their folly for not having Featherfall prepared.
He failed on the fifth one.
Nice. He's gonna fall to the ground.
Oh yeah.
and
Bunch of
hurt
darts him one after the other, and he loses concentration on the flying spell. He falls 60 feet, so that's 66 damage.
Imagine taking fall damage.
21 damage to that guy as Jim sort of scream falling to the ground.
What a bitch.
Wow.
Didn't even have
Imagine taking
Featherfall
full stamina
prepared.
damage.
Sven's like,
Okay, and you can't see where you landed from where you are. Is that your turn?
Colbert fired at the enemies with his longbow, and in the subsequent return volley, managed to catch all of the missiles firing towards him, negating their damage like some sort of main character from a very specific series directed by the Wachowski sisters.
Okay,
A
oh,
missile?
it's an arrow.
Oh, is it a missile? Yeah.
Yeah, arrows are missiles. That was 9 damage piercing.
Jazz.
So I'm gonna catch that and just drop it.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna look at him and just go.
Okay. 8 damage, which you can reduce exactly to 0.
Yeah.
I forgot that you can't fail on this.
Without rolling, like if it's less than 16, I'm just reducing it to 0 like that.
Yeah.
Well, can't you? Okay, then you can fling it back at him, can't you?
fuck.
I can, but I'm just gonna hold on to it and just keep rolling.
You're just catching his arrows. Okay. First one deals a total of 12 damage.
I catch it.
And okay. Can't fail on that one. I'll try see what I roll on the other one. Even less.
Colbert then continued to fire at the other caster, maintaining concentration on Myron's labyrinth. After the caster succeeded all their saves, Chris finally realized what was going on. And after a trans rights roll, Colbert was able to hit with his longbow. The caster failed his concentration save, and Myron was finally released.
I'll roll that concentration check. Passed.
Phil.
We passed, yeah.
You passed that time, yeah.
I'm trying, bud.
I know you are. No, you're fine.
Okay.
Dylan, do you want my trans rights for the shot that missed?
Yeah, you can take mine too for both. Of them.
Oh shit.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
That guy's
sure.
concentrating on Owen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said exactly that. Like I
I'm
said
sorry,
those
man.
words.
Okay, so for the ones that missed, I'll use Soph's.
Put it in the recap.
That'll
I
hit.
did hit. Awesome.
12 damage, concentration check. Failed.
Oh, thank fuck.
Thank God.
Hey.
Thank you.
You,
Your trans
you-
rights- in fact, so that can be my trans rights since it was for to get me out.
okay,
I
yeah.
don't mind. You might need yours again anyway.
You and
'cause
your,
you're all
uh,
still on the sticky wicket.
In your bird form, you reappear where you were after flying around a little maze for a little while.
So Myron pops back in, but like he's clearly scared as shit because he's a bird and he's just freaking out, flapping around until he takes him a second to realize what's going on.
Yeah. Can't see.
Myron quickly stretched his wings in this newfound space and sped off to find Sven, who is now glowing due to a magical arrow he was hit by.
I wanna dash away, try and find Sven, and I have advantage on checks that rely on sight, so I'm gonna try to fly up a bit and spot him.
Make
Sven's on
a
you.
make a little perception check with
Literally.
advantage. Actually, Sven is glowing. You don't need to roll.
Oh fuck yeah!
He got
Right,
hit
so-
by the arrow
so-
earlier. You can see a glowing spot running through all the alleyways. It's like there he is.
So, my Raven.
Tagging.
It's like Pac-Man.
Yeah. So yeah, my Raven flaps up, kind of goes above the building he's on, like kind of goes over it, sees Sven, flies up to him, and can I reach him with my speed if I dash?
What's your movement speed?
80 foot.
With a dash,
Flying
yeah,
speed.
you could reach him.
Yeah. So I dash up to him, and again he feels the claws start to stick into his back as I pick him up
Okay.
into the air.
Sure.
I'm being carried by a bird, so I can't run.
You can try to climb up onto me.
Can I hold on to Myron's hands and then run, like drag him forward at half my movement?
I'll allow it. It's like when an airplane's on the runway, getting ready to take off.
Chicken run, so I'm gonna dash in my accent. So I'm
Oh
gonna
my
hold
God.
on to Myron's, run 40 foot.
Just getting ready to
Flapping
take
your
off.
wings.
Engaging speed boost.
That's amazing.
Better,
Okay.
faster, stronger than before.
And in some sort of strange mixture between magical duel and fencing, there was a back and forth between the two groups.
So,
Yeah, so he has disadvantage.
but he also had advantage, and he got a natural 20.
Oh.
Bow
they
with
shoot?
me, an arrow.
He shouldn't get Colbert, which is a mistake I keep making.
You never learn.
Their past 2 arrows hit, so they're thinking,
Consolite.
you know,
Not 20s.
no.
But it's actually good that he hit because he gets to catch it.
9.
Eventually, they actually can cancel out nat 20s if they actually roll some way where they negate the damage entirely.
9.
But that's a big hit.
Yeah, 9 damage to Colbert, which he can reduce to 0. But it will cost his reaction.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's okay.
After flying beyond the range of the casters, Myron flew into the clouds and they finally lost their pursuers.
Okay, I'm just gonna again dash. I don't know how much my movement's decreased, but my usual dash would be 160 feet. If there's any clouds or anything, like I'm sort of going up and at an angle, so I'm gaining altitude all the time, but I am making distance as well.
Okay,
If there's clouds or anything at all, I can try to get some like
Yeah,
even
well,
line of sight break behind. I'll go for it, but otherwise, just putting as much distance as I can
I'm
between
gonna
me and.
check how long
Samus.
that glowing lasts for. Okay, interesting. Lasts for a bit. As you get higher and higher into the air, the other people behind you, sort of, the guy behind you, is sort of slowly falling behind. And after like about half a minute, the glowing on Sven and Colbert fades. I'd like you to roll a stealth check to hide with advantage because it's nighttime, and there's like presumably some cloud cover of some kind. You sort of fly up into the clouds. You're not entirely sure whether or not they know where you're going or, you know, have any idea where you are because you can't really tell given that you're flying away. But
Back with Sam, Arius, and Sheila, and the body of the doppelganger back in the base, some very weird things were going on. Sam made a mouth in the body of the doppelganger in hopes that it would allow the doppelganger to speak once again when Speak with Dead was cast. This was unsuccessful. Sam contacted Durain and found out that Myron, Sven, and Colbert had a much harder time than they previously had let on. The group then discussed what they could do to help, and Sam went to the Temple of Durain in the base. Back with Sven, Colbert, and Myron, Sven and Colbert rested while Myron flew them about the clouds and tried to resist the scrying spell, which actually turned out to be Sam, who observed the trio gliding through the air before reuniting with their donkey Jaffe and their goat, Laura.
so what you see is basically a giant raven with like Colbert on its back, his robes stained by blood, and like Sven like in its talons, sort of rest like knees close to his chest, and the bird's just flying around above a forest of some kind.
It looks almost exactly like Melkor whenever he's in white raven form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see that sort of square stone structure up ahead.
Okay. So once we get there, Myron's like, right, now here's the complication. They are blocked in and there is not a door. I don't suppose one of you would be particularly adept at breaking down walls.
Colbert's gonna start punching the rock.
Okay, start rolling the hit. Yeah, about 6, 7, or 8, 9 seconds of punching various points like the stone wall cracks begin to appear as it begins to crumple. You can see inside there's the cart, Melkor sort of sitting up in it. Taliesin, or Jaffe rather, is in like the corner, sort of like backing away from what's going on, whereas Laura is a bit closer to you, head lowered, and immediately charges at Colbert.
Sven immediately goes on his hunkers for like a hug.
So it's charging at Colbert.
It's charging at Colbert, that's 12 to hit.
Misses. So Colbert's just gonna like jump over it, grab Laura by the horns. I don't know. Do your goats have horns?
Sure.
Well,
Jason has decreed that they do.
Right,
Okay.
stop the stream. Stop the stream. We need to research this.
Yeah, they do. They do have horns. They're generally smaller than male horns, but they can have horns.
so Colbert's just gonna like jump around, hold by the horns, and try and like dig his feet in to stop Laura from charging.
20. Okay, you managed to stop Laura in her tracks.
Myron's like,
Just about.
can you not body slam my goat?
Sven comes over and pushes Colbert off and like, what are you doing? And starts like scratching the Laura.
And make an animal handling check. Okay, so even while she's sort of being stopped by Colbert, you go over, you begin trying to scratch her, but she just turns and tries to headbutt you.
Go for it.
We're gonna roll to hit. What's your armor class?
20.
Okay. She hits.
Oh my god!
I want to be.
No,
I
you
wanna
can be knocked, yeah.
prone, and then just be like, I love goats.
So you weren't expecting to hit, so you sort of stumble back a bit and fall onto your
my
backside.
bum bum.
Yeah.
Right. Like, Laura, no.
Bah.
Go.
Yeah.
They then made their way down the path in a carriage, with Myron and Sven camouflaged in the back. Colbert encountered a guard on the road who told him that the city was being attacked by lizard folk in the night. After the hour's rest, Myron recovered a spell slot and teleported the trio back into the cave.
Now you're
Oh,
traveling
guys, it's pretty good.
for about, I'm gonna say 10-15 minutes when you can hear sort of sound of, I guess, someone riding on horseback along the same path as you, coming from the direction of Valleja vaguely. Do you just carry on riding?
Just keeping on at the same steady pace.
Sure. Sort of, I guess, the skies glance by. You can see there's a couple of them. As you get closer and closer, they don't seem to be like getting ready for a fight or anything. They have like hoods up. It's quite dark out, so you can't really make out any faces or, I guess, features. But as you get,
We bet to give them a wee more space, like any normal citizen would do.
okay, of course. Yeah, a little bit as they pass, sort of. The two in the lead sort of carry on flying past you, whereas the one in the back kind of pulls his horse to a halt, begins to slow down, and sort of says to you, have you seen any birds? Large birds?
Come on. I see falcons, likes of that there. If you look along the tree line, you should see some.
Nothing unusual going on out here.
Can't say I've seen any.
Right. A bit late for traveling. It's dark. You should probably head somewhere safe soon. One of the villages. The lizard folk were attacking Valleja.
Really, the lizard folk? How did they get so far?
They must have snuck up on us in the night.
I have no doubt that yourself and Emmerich's men will destroy them.
As you say, Emmerich, he kind of like head moves a bit, sort of like begins to rub his chin. Yes, of course. Safe travels, friend. And continues riding on.
Bye, citizen.
Hello, fellow citizen. So Myron sort of sits up and goes, right, shall we go home?
Colbert just turns his head like, please.
And then Myron goes, very skilled lying. That was excellent. And then hops off and then just starts to, he snaps his fingers and like two pieces of chalk come out of his coat and just start to draw a teleportation circle. So for 60 seconds, he's just doing that. And then he's just like, please bloody work this time.
Okay, so yeah, you finish drawing the circle, it begins to glow, and in the brief trade where it's open, you drive your cart and Laura and Sven and Colbert into it, and you reappear in your base, in your teleportation room.
God, fuck.
So wait, did we hear that?
Depends on where you were sitting about, really. It's been a while. Were you waiting outside the room? Because the room outside it is Myron's and Sven's lab.
Yeah. So unless you're in fucking with our stuff.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
You're probably with your husband.
Probably I would.
Arias would probably be facing the teleportation circle.
Yeah, I was gonna say Arias is.
Oh, yeah,
sitting there,
Arias.
like,
Arias.
knees to chest, just waiting.
Yeah.
And where's Sam at right now?
Yeah, the cart and you guys reappear. Sam's
Sitting
called.
beside Arias with his knees to his chest, waiting.
Yeah, you guys materialize in your teleportation room and you can see Sam and Arias sitting there by the door.
I'm gonna run up and hug Myron.
Hello, area. And then he sort of like just pats him a little bit and goes like, "What's wrong?"
Colbert's just gonna walk back.
Like, I'm not very strong, Aries. You're crushing me.
Myron rolled death saving throw.
So did you two just sit here and wait for us?
Yes.
No. Well, I spoke to Derain to see if everything was okay, and he said you were all in danger. And I was asking if there was anything I could do to help, and he said he didn't know. And then I asked if the church knew that what we did to Emmerich, and he said he doesn't know. And then I scried knew, and I saw a big bird carrying the other two.
Myron kind of like, he goes from looking kind of like happy to like kind of furrowing his brow a bit and goes, Sam, keep your noxious, rancorous god out of my business. If I tell you I'm okay, you take my word for it, because that virulent mess. Doesn't know a thing about me.
Sam just kind of nods solemnly. I'm sorry.
Myron just nods and acknowledges it. You two could have been
Myron's
sleeping.
back, baby.
Once home, there were some drunken shenanigans and various conversations about what to do with Rock, the doppelganger. The party first tried to speak with the doppelganger while he was still dead, but this didn't work. At which point, they decided to revive the doppelganger in hopes of converting him to their side to be used in some unknown future plan. So with that, Rock was brought back to life, and the party began their interrogation. So now you're all caught up for episode 17 of Unusual Array. Be sure to come watch us on Thursdays at 7:34 on Twitch, YouTube and Facebook, and be sure to follow us on our social media for updates. Thanks. It's me. Yeah boy, Chris.